Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Ben Backus.
And I'm Kevin Paulin, and welcome to the Falling Up Podcast, where we have conversations about turning obstacles into opportunities. And on today's show, we have the pleasure of being joined by Miss Lynsey Saldaña.
First and foremost, Lynsey brings the energy today.
Oh, yeah.
We get to talk about a ton of things related to wellness and fitness. So she owns Freedom By Fitness LLC. She's a personal trainer, a nutrition specialist, and also a health and wellness coach. And she shared with us her experiences of how she got into this business, of how she started from a place of despair and hopelessness and found fitness as the kind of number one motivator to get her out of her depression. So she shares with us her experience overcoming traumas and depression and how she's able to positively impact many individuals through overall wellness centered around her business.
So without further ado, welcome to the Falling Up Podcast.
Let me know when y'all rolling.
We're rolling.
Yeah, we rolling.
We're going.
Oh, that's funny.
You know what I mean? You know, we just jump on in, have a regular conversation.
I didn't even know I was already just japping my mouth off. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm a talker, so I'll be straight up. I like to talk. I love vibes like this because I feel like when you're able to talk with people like this, it fuels me. So I'm in a good place right now, and I feel like I'm glad to be here because it also puts me in a position to see where I want to go in the position for talking. I mean, when you want to talk, you got so much to say. Right. I'm excited you have me here today. So cool.
Well, we're excited for you to be here with the energy. I like it. You make our job easier.
Yeah, that's good.
Seriously.
See?
Seriously.
I'm not boring. So I'm not boring. I got a lot to say. So what you got for me today?
I think a good starting place, we kind of just start with like who you are, what you do, and then we'll dive into to get to know you a little better.
Word. So obviously my name is Lynsey Saldaña with the N-Y. You got to remember that because it's disrespectful if you tell me Saldaña. It's Saldaña. I'm from Geneva, New York, a small town in upstate New York. Born and raised, but I've been here for 15 years, so I'll say I'm from hard-hitting New Britain. That's what they call it, hard-hitting?
That's what they call it.
I don't have much history about it, but it's cool. But New Britain for 15 years, been with my husband. I say my husband because I've been with him for a long time, 2 kids. And we have a business in Berlin, Freedom By Fitness, where I say he is a big impact on my journey and who I am today. Wish he would have been here, but he was not trying to take that ride because I didn't prepare him for it.
Come on, Cav.
I didn't prepare him for it, so then I dragged my queen over here. I was like, girl, I'm passing Meriden. Can I scoop you up? And she said yes, so I'm super excited for that because she also has a small business as well, which was up the street from my current Berlin business. But I have Freedom By Fitness is a place that I really enjoy because again, Kevin is a big part of my journey. So Freedom By Fitness is a place where I have women come in to really express themselves and let go, of their stressors and anxiety and depressions through fitness. This is a journey that I had taken and myself when I was in the most, darkest part of my life, postpartum depression. After my first son, the postpartum hit me very hard. Sometimes you feel like you're ready to have a kid until he comes and you're like, holy crap, shit, my life is not the same anymore. You have a human being to take care of. And selfishly, I just felt like I wasn't mentally ready for it. Like I said, I'm from New York, no family. So the family that I did have and I do have, and I say they're not my family, however, is Kevin's family, and it's just it's not the same. You know what I mean? You have that's family, but it's not the same when you call mom and dad or your brother and sister, and you can't call them and say, "Hi, I need a break" or whatnot. But moreover than that, depression hit me very hard physically. You come in from being a fit individual, and then your body and your hormones go out of whack, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? You sense that if your body's not right, then your mental illness comes in as well. You're not happy, and then depression comes in. So when you're not mentally okay, then you can't be the best person. You can't be the best mom. You can't be the best wife. You can't be the best you. And it hit me very, very, very hard. So I couldn't love myself. I couldn't love my kid. I couldn't love my husband. And I talk about it freely, and I wish he was here because he would have to agree, but it's a journey that we walked through together and overcame. We separated for a couple years to really identify what was best for us, for our kids, for myself, for him. But it was the most crazy roller coaster of our lives, but it was the most enjoyable thing to have witnessed now and see going backwards, because if we didn't have to go through those separations, I don't think we would be together today. Sometimes we have to realize that we have to go through those, tribulations and those hurdles to jump to be who you are today. So certain things that we went through, and the most craziest things, I'm talking about like court. I'm talking about like getting, those papers at the door telling you got to go to court, you got all these fees, and I'm like, what is going on here? And you got to get a lawyer. And but the most enjoyable part about it is that we overcame. We laugh at it now, but it's a situation where we had our beautiful son, and then we're both young parents. We're both still trying to figure it out. I don't think we're both ready. So I don't even think that he knew he was having postpartum depression. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of the pressure was on me because as a mom, I feel like I was a failure. But I knew I had to do something, and I had to do it for me first. But I can't deny that me being unhappy, I wasn't the best at everything either. I was doing things I wasn't supposed to do. I laid it out on the table because we're real.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's real because people go through this today, and I feel like if your past and the things that you have done wrong, it doesn't define you, because I'm here right now and I'm telling my story. We are so real. We go through things, and it's okay to be a voice about it, because a lot of people that go through that depression, they feel like, oh my God, I'm doing so much wrong, but they don't realize it's half the time it's not their fault.
All right.
The answers are not there for them for the help, and the help that I was getting wasn't sufficient enough. It was, going to see doctors, and they're telling me or giving me medication, and I go, you're not helping me enough. This is not the avenue that I want to take. Taking medications and pills and combining them is not something I want to take. Being high off of meds because they think this is what's best for you is not what I wanted to take. So being depressed at that time was a very, very difficult time for me to be a mom, to be a wife. But long story short, I found fitness. Kevin actually, as when we were separated, helped me get into that and introduced me to see if this was be an avenue to help me mentally and physically and move forward with my life. And we were separated. But he was still my friend, even though we had the craziest things about co-parenting. I would never take away that he was a good father. He was always there. Like, he was the best dad. I can't change that for nothing. But I wish he would have understood, and he understood later. And that's where Freedom by Fitness came in as a whole, as a place, because when we realized we were pregnant the second time around, I knew I had to fight again, and I was scared shitless. When I found out I was pregnant the second time, I said, oh my God, I don't want to have a baby. I didn't want to have a child. Why? Because I was scared for my mental health. And
what happened before.
What happened before, so I'm traumatized. When people used to say, hey, when's our second one coming, Kevin would be like waving like, no, don't talk about it. Because he finally realized that it was true. Postpartum was real. It took him a hard time, and a lot of men these days don't understand, and they don't listen. They think that we do things out of spite, or because, like I said, I wasn't all that perfect. I went out there and trying to find love elsewhere because I felt like I wasn't perfect enough, and I had it right in front of me. I had it right in front of me, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay to say I made a mistake. I'm okay to leave all my, get my skeletons out. Oh God, I love the fact that Kevin and I can sit at the table and talk about it, because this is life. This is real. Moving forward, if we ever go through life and we find someone else that swipes us off our feet, I tell him, we are grown. We just let it out on the table and we move on, right? But those are amazing things to accept because we already went through it.
Yeah, that's how you heal.
Oh, it's the best healing experience. I feel like we still heal. We're still healing.
And what you're describing is honesty.
Right.
Right.
And vulnerability.
Well, being transparent, right? Now you're playing by the rules of reality. When we skew that, we are now creating either a problem that doesn't exist or changing the problem that is existing, in which case we're trying to apply a solution to something that's not actually there. And we're going in circles, right?
Absolutely.
And when we're actually honest and transparent, I mean, you look at some of the most effective models of getting help are self-help models, and they're built on honesty. They're built on transparency. So you were able to apply that. And I think what you just said right there, right? Like, hey, if you find someone who sweeps you off your feet, like, let's talk about it, right? Let's not hide from it, because that's where resentment and that's where poor choices come in. I want to take a step back for a minute. You said I had to do it for me first. Were you because this is the wonderful is the wrong word, but I guess the one of the most challenging things about depression is the chaos that ensues, right? When individuals are depressed, it implies kind of a lack of control, a lack of direction. For you in that moment, were you trying to solve kind of other people's problems? Or what was that process like where you realized you had to do it for you first?
Well, I would have to say, because in the position we were at before Freedom by Fitness, I was already also working a full-time job. So I jumped in immediately. My son was 2 months and I already had a full-time job. I couldn't take the risk of not working because the work was already bad. And I just graduated as a medical assistant. So I was already overwhelmed. So like I said, the fact that I didn't have my peoples, like my family, my hometown with me, I didn't feel like I had enough. And maybe I'm kind of not answering this right, but the movement was so fast that I lost myself. And I felt like I needed to regain the fact that this is reality, and I have to learn how to adapt and evolve, knowing that I have a child. And then again, when Kevin and I were together, this is 4 years into our relationship where we had a baby. I don't even think that was enough time either. You sometimes you find someone, you say, oh my God, I love this person, and not to say I am in love with him. I loved him, I always will. But I just feel like I wasn't able to. If I can't love myself, how am I supposed to love my child? How am I supposed to love him? I can't give anything. I can't give nothing. And the crazy thing is, I just had this conversation with my son because he's at 11 now. And I openly had a conversation with him in the backseat of my car when I'm driving. And I said, I need you to listen to me, because I know he was able to, he's older, and not the fact that he probably doesn't remember, when he was born, and obviously the first couple of years, but I'm sure because people talk, right? They think that what they see and what I went through is something that was wrong, but they don't know the true story. Maybe they can listen to this and be like, you know what, dang. Right. I wish I could hold her hand. I wish I was there to be by her side. I wish I understood her. But that's okay, because those are the people I don't want next to my corner, and I keep them away as much as possible. But I still love them because I choose love. But what I'm saying is that I needed to separate myself and realize, like, maybe this could be a good possibility where he can also find himself. Because the fact that he was still misunderstanding me, it made it harder for me to progress for me as well. So I was taking a risk. And I'm such a risker. I am if I got stories for days with Kevin and I, but those are the things that we have to go through. And what if we don't try? What if I didn't leave him? I don't think, I want to be honest with you. I want to be so honest that if I felt like if we kept together, if I didn't take that risk for myself, I wouldn't be with him today. I don't even know where I would be. Would there be Freedom by Fitness? Probably not.
So in the midst of the depression, fitness was the first thing that helped you see a path out?
Absolutely. I think that the natural adrenaline that it gave me was my fuel. It was an amazing feeling. And I'm like, wow, I like this high. This high is a lot better than any other high than popping pills and mix. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Because sometimes even the doctors say, hey, put this one and put this one together. This will give you the effect. We know pills can do certain things, right? Okay, great. I'll do that. But I'm like, oh, God, I can't even function. This is not the right path I want to take. I want a high that's going to bring me up. I don't want a high that's going to bring me low. Like, what kind of depression is? I feel like I was more depressed.
So when did you land on actually opening up would you call it a fitness center, a gym? What would
correct. You? It's a mixture of everything, honestly. And I love it because I really utilize this space as everything that I could, because I don't know. I just like to put my toes in everything. I'm all about taking risks, right? So I was working for health for so long, and I found out I was pregnant. It was the most craziest thing. I was the most healthiest of my life. And I'm like, oh my God, I got my body back. The recovery for postpartum, they think that it's a fast shot. No, this can take years. It could take 5-7 years. I feel like I'm still going through postpartum. I come in waves. And I'm going through right now because I feel like we're so, life is so busy. We're so busy.
Yeah.
They think that, they'll see me, that everything's so beautiful. And I'll give you a smile like you wouldn't believe it. Of course it's going to shine, but they don't really know what's going on. It's all black and white inside, boy. Like, what's up? The reality is real. So when I found out when I was pregnant the second time, the craziest thing, we were supposed to go on vacation, and I was the most healthiest. Like, I was lean. I was so clean. Like, my body was like so, like the toxins, I felt like it was alleviated because I'm a nutritionist too. So in a combination of food and stuff. So I know how the magic works. I got pregnant.
Well, that's why the magic worked.
The magic worked. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to eat crap and eat junk, but a long story short, I was like, man, this is going to suck. I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to have my menstrual, real talk. And all jokes aside. And I sit down, I look at the calendar, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm 2 weeks late. Oh no. So I work at the doctor's office, and I was like, oh, they're going to have to figure this out, but I'm going to grab one of these tests. So I went to the bathroom, and before I can wash my hands, I tell you, it was like bling. Yeah. And I said, did they run controls on these? Hold up, let me go back and grab another one. And then I did it again, and I felt like, how when you like turn white and like you just start to flush out.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe this was happening. So I picked up the phone and I called him. I said, babe, I think you're gonna want to sit down for this. And he goes, what's up? You okay? And I go, we're pregnant. And I told everybody right then and there, the doctor's office, like, yo, what's up? Were you all right? I'm like, I'm pregnant. I knew I was going to have a baby. It traumatized the hell out of me but with my beliefs, it's like, you're going to have a baby regardless. You're going to deal with it. You're going to figure it out. And that's what's up. That's it. No choice. I mean, I was standing up. I went to the floor. I told the doctor, he goes, you okay? I said, no. I said, you're going to have to bring your own patients in because it was just too hard. It traumatized me so bad. But
I'm sorry, this is the first baby or second baby?
This is the second baby.
This is the second baby.
The second baby. So my son was already 7 years old. So I was already overcoming my postpartum with Kevin coming back into my life. So he wanted, I know he wanted one. Little shit. So but I'm super blessed. My legend is amazing. That kid is amazing. So we're going to have a baby. But there was one thing I was already working on, and that was becoming a personal trainer. So I had already became a personal trainer and whatnot, but I was also thinking of my avenues of where I can go ahead and, put my skills to a test. So I was already working for someone in Middletown doing small group training. But then I realized I had to really put everything on paper and go, wow, I'm scared. I'm super scared. I would go to the doctor's office and Kevin would be like, yo, what's up? What's wrong with you? And I said, I don't think, do you need a reminder of what we went through before? That roller coaster ride that we just both didn't like and we overcame, we're here today. Like, I'm scared. I'm so scared. And the doctor would look at him like, Kevin, literally giving him validation, like, it's real. Like, where were you? That's when he realized. That's when I think he really realized that he really had now to come at 110%. Not the fact that he support me then, but it was me. That was my fault. It was my problem. It wasn't his problem. It was mine. It was my demons I was fighting, but I had to push him away to go ahead and find myself again before I can bring him back into my life. And it was difficult to even bring him back in. But we knew we had so much love for each other. But the things that we did were not things that we would do when you're in love with each other. That's just out of spite. You know what I'm saying? So I told him and I evaluated everything. I said, things are going to have to change. Things are going to have to change. My mental health is important to me. Going to work and working for other people, it's okay. But at the end of the day, the value that they brought to me wasn't efficient. I'm a hard worker. And my work ethics is to a T. I mean, I do anything that I had passion in, I can correct. And it was healthcare. Healthcare was a good avenue also where, Freedom by Fitness is almost the same thing, helping people. Mm-hmm. And I said, it has to change. And that's when I said, I'm going to build a business. I said, babe, you're going to come paint these walls for me? and then I just put it in paper and I put a plan together and took action. And after my son was born, 2 weeks later, I opened up my business, in June and I opened it up, and I did that for me. I tell people all the time, and I tell you today, that Freedom by Fitness, I did it for me first. I didn't do it for anyone else but myself. And if anyone wanted to see my the value of my story of why I stand today, it was for me first. But then I came to realize that when people started seeing the avenue that I was taking to help with myself with depression, then I realized there was a lot of people suffering too. And I couldn't believe it. And it couldn't just have only been postpartum. I mean, like depression anywhere. Someone that had lost their mom, or someone that just didn't, feel good about or having confidence, or just wanted to progress in life. Someone wanted to bring higher health to themselves. I realized, like, wow, I know I can help. If I can help myself, I know I could bring an avenue for them too. And it hasn't been easy. I mean, everyone is not to say everyone, but I'm gonna say 80% right now is a fitness enthusiast. You know what I mean? But then again, you have to realize what separates me from many other personal trainers. And I tell myself I'm a personal trainer. I'm very knowledgeable, but I'm a coach. I'm a coach first. I'm a mental coach. If your mind not right, your body ain't coming right either. So it's to the point where I came to Freedom by Fitness because I needed to be mentally stronger. And when I was mentally stronger, I was able to be spiritually stronger. And when I was able to be spiritually stronger, I was able to bring my body with it.
So it sounds like you was your first client.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I struggle to this day because, like you said, I'm transparent. It's real. And that's the problem today. People need to be real. Like, as a personal trainer, I might be the most fluffiest trainer. I'm okay with that. But I'm a balanced, very knowledgeable individual. I train. But you know what? In my place of Freedom by Fitness, I want people to come in and feel comfortable to work out and fuel their stressors through fitness and still be able to train, because you can still progress and bring more value into a specific area of your journey in personal training and health. But in my house, I tell them, make this place a place where you can fuel all of your stressors in life and let it go here, because it feels freaking good.
Not only does it feel good, but biologically it is good,
Heck
right?
yeah.
From a scientific standpoint,
Absolutely.
It is good. And I look at fitness as it's a microcosm to life, right? In life, the beautiful thing about fitness is you can simulate. It's so much more than physically working out, right? It's, hey, I'm going to push myself to the point where I don't think I can go on, and then I push myself a little bit past that. I expand my comfort zone. And that is quite literally every single thing we do in life, right?
Yes,
Whether it's
comfort zones. I love that word. I love that phrase.
And the beautiful thing about fitness is it can show you in real time how what is going on in your mind is bullshit, right? That you can do way more than you are capable of.
Correct that mind.
And and I love how you mentioned the mind piece. And I think fitness is it's an area that we complicate the living shit out of, right? And I think because of that, the excuses to not do it, to not engage in physical activity, there's so much space that is created because, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it.
Yep.
What advice can you give people who are curious but don't know how to take that leap of faith?
This is the thing, is that I'm working with so many women right now that want to take the avenue, right? And I even had made them jump, and I said, if this is what fuels you, find a way to find what moves you, find what sets you free. That's how I say it. So I always say there's so many levels of fitness. There's so many different types of fitness. There's so many different avenues you can take. There's cardio kickboxing, right? When I think of cardio kickboxing, I think of letting myself free. I'm letting all my power out. I'm going all in, right? Anxieties. So I feel like that type of fitness is different from me doing strength. That's a different avenue. So, when I do HIIT is one of my, give me some HIIT. I'ma outdo you like crazy, because I feel like it just really releases everything that I'm going through, and I'm gonna dig deep to my core, and I'm gonna leave it out on the table. I'm gonna leave it right out on the mat. That's HIIT for me. Or if I do strength, I feel like I'm going a different. I'm angry. You get that? So I always say, when you're going through fitness and you want to find an avenue that sets you free, find something that's best suitable for you. Stop looking for fitness that everyone else is doing. Because with physical fitness right now, the society makes it look like everybody got to be physically fit. Boy, if you have 90% of these people that are physically fit are not mentally healthy. I'm so serious. So that's why I always say I separate myself so differently. Like if you're not mentally okay, you're not, your body's not going to come and you're physically not going to be okay. You know, it took me a hard time to understand that. I have struggles with my body all the time. But then when I go, Lynsey, you know, practice what you preach. You happy. You happy. You got your husband at home. You have to start also looking at other avenues of what makes you happy, that you shouldn't have to worry how you look.
That's that gratitude.
You know?
Yeah.
It took me a long time. I was so selfish. You know, and that's what hit postpartum. I was so selfish on who I had to look like. Like, oh my God, I'm young. All these women out here, they look to a T. They got, you know, and I'm like, man, I came to realize I started comparing myself to everybody else, and I go, what's wrong with you?
And that is,
like, you know?
And this is, again, you guys can call me crazy for this idea, but something I work with individuals all the time, right? When you're working out for a number, or you're working out for that
stress.
look, isn't it better to gauge working out for how you feel?
Absolutely.
Right? And that is like this really hard thing where if I'm doing something and I'm checking the results based off how I feel, that is what life is, right?
It's like I tell when I coach my clients, I go, okay, they say, oh my God, the scale. Why are you going on the scale? If that scale is a flip-flopper for you to be, you know, unhappy, what are you? Throw that scale away.
Right.
If that's a trigger for you to be unhappy, why are you stepping on the scale? So we need to start to look at other victories in life, right? We need to say, okay, how about we put them pair of jeans or the shirt you want to put on or some leggings or whatnot? Those are the victories you want to do, because I always tell people you can lose 15 inches before you lose a pound, bro.
Yes.
You know, I don't preach what the scales. I have a scale. I have an expensive scale in my studio. And I swear it's collecting dust because I don't even get on it. Because I look at it and I go, I look at the scale. And every time I want to get on it, I go, do you want to disappoint yourself today? Or you want to just work on yourself today? And how do you want to feel? Because I feel like if I set myself on the scale, I'm going to set myself backwards, and there's just more stress for me to figure it out. And I go, no, I'm going to figure it out how I feel.
But the feeling is the reality,
Absolutely.
Right? The numbers are an illusion.
Nah, it's like it's like a mind fuck.
It is. But we get caught up in the externals in life so often.
But that's the problem. And I'm not cocky as shit, but I'm just gonna be real. You need people more like me to hit that reality. And it's okay to hit numbers, because you know what? There's gonna be people that want to achieve those goals, but that's good, because those people that have those kind of goals and numbers, they have already achieved mental stability to be in that avenue of wanting to reach that. But there's other people that go in the avenue of just want to hit numbers because everyone else is doing it.
Right,
and they don't really practice my kind of avenue where I go, I can train you. People come all the time in the studio and go, oh, I don't see results. And I go, hold up. This is what you're going wrong here. I said, Freedom by Fitness is not I can train you, but you're going to have to go, you're going to be one-on-one. It's going to cost you a little more, you know what I mean? But I can still also give you exercises, and then it's up to you to train yourself. You know, in a sense, you know, like working out and training is two different things.
Right.
They don't understand that. My studio, my gym is not a place for you to come. You can train, you know, in a sense, but what I practice is mental stability and strength. Like, it's like you got to go mind, spiritual, and body before you're going to hit your body to a different type of level of wanting to put numbers up.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you explain how you get that message across? How that translates in real time?
What you mean? Like just people and...
So where you talk about training everything, mind, body, spirit, strength,
I mean,
how does that apply? Is it like specific workout routines? Are there, what is...
It's more to the point where when I preach it, I say, you got to be ready. If you're not ready, don't step to the door. You know what I mean? Because in my spaces, you're still training, but we're training your mental state of mind first. Because I feel like a lot of people that walk in through my facility are going through a lot of mentally challenges. So
is there an example of how that happens?
Oh, you know, like today, I have a client that's just super unhappy, and all she thinks is about calories. I don't count calories. I said, well, I'm a balanced person, you know, because I feel like once you start counting calories, then you're restricting yourself. And once you start restricting yourself, you're hard on yourself, and then you just bug out, and then you're putting your body under stress. And what happens? We have stress hormones that inhibit fat loss and weight. So if you don't know the balance of being happy and being able to eat and managing saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and have this margarita or this big old meal that's 300 and something calories, but say, you know what, later I'm going to go ahead and work out and make sure I balance myself in the afternoon, where I'm going to eat something else that's less and live a balanced lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's like reaching that balance first to realize that everything goes hand in hand. Our bodies,
all connected.
It's all connected. Our body is such a science, and people need to understand that. So what might not work for me it goes vice versa. So
I know you mentioned, in addition to doing training, you're also a nutritionist. When you work with people around diet, right? Because I know that we all process foods very differently, and foods that may be really great for you might spike my blood sugar and be absolutely terrible for me. Right. What is a way to begin to understand and really pay attention to what foods work for an individual? I know when I changed my diet several years ago, where I would just eat whatever I wanted all the time, and something that I never noticed is I went the first, quarter of my life essentially feeling like crap without knowing that I felt like crap. Right. I love that you pinpointed that, because we live in a society today that we're just going to eat, right? Like, I'm a Hispanic person, so obviously I grew up to like chuleta and, the heavy rice and the fried stuff and whatever. So we're accustomed to feeling like that's how our body's supposed to feel like, but not really realizing that when you switched your nutritional needs, because obviously I don't say diet but long story short, when you fix it and you're more educated on what foods can do to your body, you start to realize, like, wow, you know what? Dairy makes me feel like crap. All right. Or, but again, that's different for everybody. People might be okay. I just had this conversation with someone today. Oh my God, yogurt. I shouldn't have yogurt because someone said it's bad for me because this and this and that. And I go, okay, but you can take yogurt in 3 different ways. You can say, okay, yogurt could be my protein, or yogurt could be my dairy. Or you get what I'm trying to say? So it really depends on how you take it. So that's why I say live a balanced lifestyle, because I will say, you know what? I'm going to do my yogurt, but I won't do my milk, because I'm going to stay away from milk, dairy, but I'm going to do my yogurt for my protein because it's easier. So that's when you find the balance. So with the member today, I told her, I was like, you need to identify what works for you. Everyone is different. So when I put people on plans, I always say, we're going to find what works for your lifestyle. We need to stop finding what everyone else says that works, because what works for them, or what the society is putting out in black and white on a piece of paper, might not work for you. So you have to realize that anything you put your mind to is going to work. Any supplementation you put your mind to is going to work, regardless if it's, A and B. At the end of the day, if you take A and if you commit and discipline yourself and follow your plan, it's going to work. Now versus now you do the B, the same thing, it's going to work. So, that's the avenue too. Find what works for you in your lifestyle. Find what drives you to success and not what drove them to success. Because I'm not going to have someone tell me like, oh, you need to eat this because what if I take and I go, wow, this doesn't even do anything for myself. Why would I put myself in that position? This is a lifestyle. This is something that when you live it, you don't want to restrict yourself. Like I couldn't live like that. I mean, sometimes I won't deny that sometimes I go, dang, I shouldn't have had that cookie. But I mean, it was the pleasure of eating that cookie when I wanted, when it was there. But I think it's more of a fact that sometimes you have to be disciplinary, and that's where a lot of people don't understand. They go, oh, Lynsey, I need your motivation. And I go, no, you don't need my motivation. You need your discipline.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah,
that's facts. Discipline goes with you.
Yeah, because I can and I do meal planning, right? And no, I actually meal prep for myself, and I get people all the time. They go, "Oh wow, can I buy your food?" I'm like, no. And I mean, it could be an extra bucks for me, absolutely, because for me, I see everything in dollar sign. I'm a hustler.
That takes the purpose away.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. You know what? I appreciate you. You know why? Because at the end of the day, I go, why would I want to go ahead and sell you my meal plans? Like I could make bank. Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? At the end of the day, I go, but what happens if I'm gone? What are you gonna do? Why wouldn't you want to feel educated where you can take this for a long term lifestyle?
Yeah,
you know, they don't get that. It's like they want the quick fixes, and it's like, why don't you take the steps necessary to learn and how it works for you?
Right.
So it's more about discipline, and people don't have discipline.
Well, it's that old adage, right? Like, you give a man a fish, he eats for a night. You teach a man a fish, he eats for a lifetime. And going with discipline is it's not something that is intrinsic to people, right? It's a skill. Discipline is something that you build by
I'm
doing.
ready to tell people.
So, yeah, by giving them and just selling them that's not developing discipline, right? That's actually developing reliance.
Right.
And reliance is the opposite of discipline.
Discipline is empowering too.
Right.
You better cut this piece out, because I tell you, I get people all the time that just, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have worked with people in the past, you know, doing meal planning, and we were so much alike but so different. And I go, no, you can go ahead and do that if that's what you see. You know, people are people over profit and profit over people, and I'm about my people. So I'm gonna go ahead and be sure that I can educate, because I think education is key. I mean, in the end of the day, look what this world is going through. I don't want to go in depth, but you know, in the sense where I want to teach my kids. I want to teach my kids how to plant something. I want to teach them how to grow, you know, realistically, you know. So if we keep providing and giving them everything and not showing them avenue how to get there, then when we're gone, they're going to be clueless. Right. I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now that's just fading out already. And I'm just like, dang, we need to help them now. And that's why I go, no, and don't get me wrong, because in the end of the day, I'm gonna be dead serious. I would love to own my own freaking, you know, meal plan company, and we'd be able to go ahead and supply and serve our people. Absolutely, because I know there's people that do struggle with it, that don't have time or whatnot. But the people that hit me up, dead serious, I'm gonna be real to tell you, they lazy. They're just plain lazy. That's it. That's it. If I can do it, they can do it too. Because honestly, it's all about preparation, and people don't prep. They just, you know, I'm if you don't prep, and I go through this all the time because I live a roller coaster, transparent reality life. Like, you fall back and you forget, and you're like, shit, I should have meal prep. And
the reality is, we have these things called executive functioning skills, right? And one of the many skills is initiating, right? When you jump straight to initiating, you skip organizing, you skip planning, you skip everything that develops the actual skill set, right?
That's my brother.
So
we talk the same language, man.
It's important. You can't skip steps and think that you're going to get the process, right? It's like trying to do calculus before you do algebra. Like, that shit's not, and I don't know how to do either of those, but this is not going to work out.
That's the thing, you know. And over my years, and what I'm super grateful for, and I'm like, dang, I wish I would have did this a long time ago, but I wouldn't be here and able to collect everything that I did and all the hard work that I put in it, because it's all about learning. It's all about learning. I mean, I've been doing this for I've been in healthcare since 2004, right out in high school. But long story short, when it came to nutrition and putting everything pieces by pieces, I have 7 years plus of materials that I have been doing. And I go, Lynsey, we're going to go ahead and cut this avenue. We're going to go ahead and put it together in a book. Now it's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and soon, and God's willing, I'm going to present something where I want people first to learn how to prep. People go, I'm ready, but in reality they're not. When they jump the next day, what happens? They just put themselves into failure. They're not realizing that since they avoided that preparation, they're less likely to be successful.
And you know what's even worse when they do that? Then they say, oh, this doesn't work.
Right.
And it's like, no. It's not it didn't work. It's that you didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right?
So it's sad that, you know, and no, not in the sense that it's sad. I'm actually excited that I'm able to have realized with my experience of how people's mind work. And I want to go ahead and now put it into a lovely 100+ page book where I'm able to go ahead and put people, because sometimes you got to dummy things down for people in a sense, because they really sometimes just don't get it. Because for me, I can talk about it and like, hello, it flows, baby. But you're gonna have people, they be like, what's going on here? So I'm gonna dummy it down because I want everyone to be successful. And if I have to say day one, week one, baby, we go day one, week one, we're going to go 100 whatever pages it is. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to say it can't get any easier than this, man. Come on now. You know, so so I'm working on something that I was able to again put together because through experience I've been working on my phone and I'm tired. I feel like I can go ahead and reach so much more, and demographically as well. I'm putting a huge thing like, find your freedom, find, freedom mindset. I haven't really decided what I really wanted to call it, but obviously freedom's in there. But it's like freedom mindset and body reset. It's where people can go ahead and literally the first week we're gonna go ahead and find what works for you. We're gonna plan a meal plan that works for you. Because at the end of the day, you're still achieving higher health. I'm never in a race here. Nothing needs to be a race. Everybody's so in a rush.
Well, they focus on the end goal.
Like,
when
you know what I
is the
mean?
process.
Like, I'm just like, yo, slow down. Like,
Right.
It takes small steps to be big. They don't understand that. Like, as long as you put one foot in front of the other, you should be gravy, baby. Let's go.
You better, as soon as you're done here, you better go trademark that. Freedom, mindset, and body reset.
Yeah.
Fire.
Go
have it on
trademark.
there.
That is, wow.
I just feel like people need to find their freedom, in their mind and in their body. The body is more using, foods, all natural foods, powerful foods. People think when they see reset, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to the bathroom. I got to buy shakes or this and this and that to incorporate. No, it's a balanced nutritional reset where you can find what best works for you. And then in the design, when I go ahead and have the first week, and again, I'm briefly going through it, the first week is, okay, we can't do a lot. The first week is preparation. The second week is, okay, now that we're going to go ahead and reset our body and taking away a lot of things that we're so normally eating that's not great for us, because again, we want to reset our body nutritionally, because when you do this, you're putting your body into that glycemic index phase where you're just like, low sugars. And I'm sure you're looking at me, you know what's going on here, right? And these powerful foods make us go crazy, right? Because we're not used to it, because we're screaming for all the junk that we're so normally used to. So when you're putting your body into that phase, you're going crazy. So this is a good time for the second week that you're going to go ahead and you're going to do meditation. You're going to go ahead and do breath work or yoga, because your body's going to be in a detox phase where you're just like, okay, where's my sugars? Where, and again, it's a balance and it works. It's scientifically, done, and I've been successful at it. So the second week is really digging deep and, spiritually into yourself, to setting yourself and say, okay, I'm going to kick ass this third week. And the nutrition changes, into a different, because I don't recommend anyone going into that deep if they can go. But again, we find what best works for them, and we kick it off again. And our body just now really kicks it off, and you're detoxing, not just detoxifying internally, because you have to understand we take detox from all over. Everything that we eat, breathe, right? The toxins and the everything. So this reset is literally finding, resetting your mind, resetting your body. I mean, through the power of foods, but also, for fitness. I'm providing a home workout also versus a workout at the gym. Also being able to do Zoom if you need to, or come to the studio and hang out with me at Freedom by Fitness. So I gave a lot of people avenues. So this platform is going to be coming. God, I'm so excited about it. I've been so silent because, sometimes you can't put that stuff out.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because I'm all about energy, and I feel like if I give too much, people are going to be like, I'm a very energetic person anyways. I don't want to jump into it, but I'm very excited that I was able to find an avenue that now I can really light things up. I'm going to light it up and I'm going to light it on fire. But I really want people to step back and take that 4 weeks to really learn about themselves. Being able to prepare, being able to go ahead and find what works for them and spiritually or meditation or whatever, and have their body also change with the managing of the different foods they're going to intake to achieve the optimal health.
See, I was waiting, and you touched on it now, so I want to go a little deeper on that, because I know you talked about mental health, physical health,
right,
and that spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
So so week 2, right? So what we talk about? Affirmations.
So we're talking about affirmations. We're talking about, in this thing that's 4 weeks. We're actually doing affirmations, but also we're doing like a 30-day challenge where you're taking a picture each day, and each day is a different thing as well. So it's like gratitude, family. What do you like doing? It's a way to find who you are. And in the midst of it as well, because like I said, I got so much to offer. I'm so very excited about it. It makes me so happy. But I'm just like, another avenue too is I want to help women or people in general really see what sets them free. Like what's their true passion? What's their purpose in life? I found mine, and it feels freaking damn good. Even the fact that I had a roller coaster ride, but to sit here and talk about it and be like, man, nobody can tell me shit.
And that roller coaster ride is what makes it feel good.
know me. My husband know everything. He's my ride or die. You know, and the fact that, like I said, when I had my postpartum, we got back together. Like I said, we human, man. We human. And so if I did him wrong, he did vice versa. We let it at the table so that if anybody had anything to say, he goes, man, I already knew. My wife told me. You know,
that's beautiful, though.
You know, and I wish everybody had that kind of relationship. Like, it's just life. Now we're grown. That's why I say, we're going back. If we have any issues in life where we feel like, you know what, Lynsey, I'm unhappy or vice, whatever it is, it's to the point where we got to be real. We got kids. We already went through it. What's the damage? What more damage do we want to go? You know, let's go ahead and progress. I'm super grateful for that avenue that God gave me, because we literally walked out holding hands. You know what I'm saying?
Just describe, and I told you before we start recording, I want to give you your flowers. And this, what I know, because I was going to give you flowers about being, you know, high energy and positive.
Oh, you're so sweet.
But I also give you flowers about the situation with Kev and how courageous that is. Because that's courageous to sit down and be transparent.
I mean, but it's like, why not? I mean, that's the thing, is that I think a lot of us hold so much of our past tragedies, that these tragedies can be such a beautiful influence on others that might be going through it as well. Right. And then the people that don't have the voice, that hold it, it's still like, I feel like they're hanging on, but not knowing that their story can really make an impact somewhere else, right? So I hope that one day, if everyone listening to this and say, damn, you know, I wish I could have took that leap of faith or take that risk, but we only got one life, man. I mean, life is super short. And I just feel like, you know, I want to die happy. You know, I want to be able to say I did what I did, and I did everything for me, and I am for my kids. You know, I live now, and I still have a hard time with my kids. Why? Because I'm still trying to figure myself out. I'm here. I'm telling you my story. You know, I feel like I am a mom. I could do anything for my kids. Don't get me wrong. I love my kids. I will kill for my kids. I will die for my kids. I will do anything for my kids. But I won't deny that the relationships that other parents have versus me as a mom is not the same. But don't judge me, because you don't know my story. You don't know what I went through. You don't know my childhood. You don't know my parents. Maybe my parents gave me an avenue where this is who I am. And they did. But my parents gave me the love that I'm giving my kids. And I can get so emotional because that I talk about it is real. You know, sometimes we have to take and evaluate and break those generational curses. Mm-hmm. And I was able to identify that the reason why I am, not to blame it on my parents, because I'm not blaming it on them, but I was able to dissect the fact that my dad was a hustler, meaning that he never worked for nobody. He was always figuring it out. That's me. Always figuring it out. I'm going to put food on the table. And my mom was and continues to be that work ethic 9 to 5, you know, hustler, and she make money and food on the table too when they were around. So I was the one that had the key to the house, and then my mom's putting me to sleep when she's coming in, so she was never around. My dad was around, you know, gambling for OTB and doing what he had to do, and he was never around. So like they gave me that tough love. They gave me my cars. They gave me my shoes on my feet. They gave me everything. But and I feel like I am actually in the sense where I am overcoming to being that same parent that I went through as a childhood. And I realized that wasn't healthy though, because I was able to take that with me now, but I'm breaking that. And again, going backwards, the fact that I have my son in the backseat and I go, don't you ever think that I don't love you the same or anything, because I want you to understand, as a mom, people go through these things. So when people judge a mom or say, oh, this kid is not what their mom or their mom is doing, how about you go ahead and take that person's hands and see what they're going through? Right.
That's it. And I think something that
we need more of that. And it's like we are so accustomed to seeing like, oh, everything's fine. But that's the way you want to judge, through the colors of what you see. You know what I mean? And then until you realize or you hear the story like mine, you go, oh, shit, she's going through all of that? Damn right. You never ask, you're never going to know.
Right.
No, and something that I think is really... It's really powerful when you take a step back and think about, there's 8 billion people on this planet, right? And each one of us is essentially raised. Everything we know comes from like 8 people. Right? Like comes from our families, their families, and all of that experience is put into our mind, and that's the way we see the world. And we forget that there's 8 billion people. There's other ways. There's way more to it. And what you're describing is empathy, right?
And it's crazy
Empathy.
because I want to go back and I want to talk about my father. You know, growing up, me and my father, we don't. It's so hard to just like even talk about it because him and I are so much the same. You know, he's just a man. I'm just a young woman, you know, his daughter. So we had a hard time. I had a hard time growing up because I was doing things that he did as a child. And he's like, shit. So what he's trying to do, he's trying to protect me. But as a young woman, I go, dang, Dad, like, can you just back off? Or like, can I live? But in a sense, you start to realize, like, he's trying to protect me, you know? So moving forward, before I went to college, I was able to go ahead and do an interview for my dad because I really wanted to know who he was. And the fact that I still know who he was a very loving dad and he was always going to be there. But that tough love was just like, man, who are you? You know, what is up with you? Like, I want to know what is all this tough love and what's up. So before I went to college, I was able to do an interview for him and I recorded it and I still have it. And I love it. And I actually went ahead and typed it out and I have it tucked away. And I mean, this is 2004, 2005. So this is something I'm going to cherish forever. So I got to know who my dad was. I mean, I asked, and he didn't want to do it. I mean, this jackass, I'm telling you, he's such a tough ass. And that's the Saldaña in us, I guess. But, you know, he was just like, what's up? Like, what you want to know? Right? But when I really started going in depth, and I mean, I'm going questions in that. He started loosening up. It's like he was telling his childhood, and I looked at it and I go, wow. Like you start to realize how he is and what he has become and why he is acting and what he does and stuff like that. So you realize, like, okay, like you just mentioned, this shit is all generational influences, right? So if he went through it, I'm living in it too. And if I lived in it, my kid's gonna live in it. And so me able to go ahead and identify why he is who he is and what he did, it came to realize why I am. But then again, you start to come to senses like, damn, sometimes you don't even do that shit on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, and again, that's
you get what I'm saying?
so much of
Yeah.
life is unconscious, right? Like we do
I can't-
the automatic.
I was like, and I sit down and I tell my son, I'm like, baby, don't blame me, please. It's not my fault. It's something that I didn't know that I had to work on. Like God had told me, okay, this is how you grew up. You're going to figure it out now. And then I'm glad I'm going to break it. So there's things that I was able to take from my dad, that hustling and that like, go get it. But he taught me so well. He always, taught me never, I'll hustle somebody. Like, don't do that. Be respectful. You're going to make money right. You know what I mean? Don't take no shit, and then I got my mom. My mom is so faithful, so Christian. They're two totally different people. Let me tell you something. My parents are 18 years apart. My sister and my mom are the same age. I tell this and they're like, what? And I go, but you know what? They're not married. And that's why I don't believe in marriage. I feel like if I'm going to get married, we're going to get divorced. And what's the point of that? And I go, if we're able to go through shit right now, we're going to be fine. And that's why I say he's my husband. Ring or not, he's my husband, and
That's the bond.
That's it. My parents taught me, again, see? They were able to influence the fact that I don't need a ring on my finger. And everyone goes, oh, what's up? Why? Man, put that money in my pocket. I'm good. Let me invest that real quick. Because again, I go to myself, I see everything as dollar signs. And who I get that from? My dad. And then my mom, she's super sweet. She's a Christian and so weird because it's like they're totally opposite people, but they have mad love for each other. And she taught me a lot of great qualities and faith and, believing in yourself and always looking in God, and always saying, like, whoever your higher power, just look for him and never stop believing. And that's where I got that from. So it's like the sweetness and the caring and from my mom and the take no shit from my dad. Like, it's kind of a good combination though.
So really quick, I want to switch gears a little bit because I have found, and there's something I really enjoy is breath. Right? Like breathing, I find, is just a cheat code to life. Right. To really be able to remain in my parasympathetic nervous system and stay at a calm state where I have less emotional responses and more logical responses. What role does breath play in your business? Is it incorporated into workouts or into? Absolutely.
So, say for instance, you hitting that punching bag. I want you to hit that punching bag for a full minute. I want you to outlast that full minute. So what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to have you dig deep and breathe. Find your endurance. Find a way to control it. Once you start to control it, you're going to outlast that 60 seconds. So now sometimes when they utilize that bag, right, they don't think about breathing. So when that happens, when they don't breathe, they ain't gonna last. And I go, no, you're gonna defeat this. We're gonna last. So you need to breathe, right? So also what hit? Breathe, baby. If you don't breathe, if you can't control yourself and find that momentum, you're not going to go ahead and put everything out on the mat. Also with strength, right? If you're going to go ahead and squat, I want you to go ahead and take that deep breath and put that energy in that breath right to that muscle that you have to exert while you exhale, right? So it's bringing that energy to that muscle to exhale and go ahead and make sure that you can bring yourself up. So there's a lot of avenues you can take with breath work. Also, even one time when you go ahead and relax and it's time to cool down, baby, we're going to cool down. We're going to lay down. I want you to go ahead and extend your hands and your legs. I need you to close your eyes and you're going to go ahead and deep breathe and feel it in your core right here and exhale. It's like, because when I have people come in my studio, I always want them to leave how they came in. You know, they came in with the heart rate low. I want you to leave with the heart rate low. So I was able to go ahead and identify that that's also a good way I want to practice in my studio. Leave everything at the door. You know?
I love it.
I like that.
So-
I think I ever heard anyone say that about leaving with the heart rate the way you came in, but that's dope. That's the
just-
whole.
I want Freedom by Fitness to be a sense of place where they can go ahead and set themselves out, you know. And then I open the door and I say, baby, all the energy that was exerted into my studio, let it go, you know. In a sense where a lot of emotionals, you know, people come to my studio and I say, all right, you're gonna take this ball, we're gonna slam it. And whoever you're mad at, I don't know who it is, I don't care. Put that face right there. You're gonna bring that power and you're gonna slam that ball. And you're gonna see people that listen to me because I encourage them because I can feel the energy of them knowing that they're going through something in life. A lot of times people that come into my studio don't come for physical attention. They come for mental attention. That's the difference between Freedom by Fitness and many facilities today. And that's why I always say, if we're not mentally okay, we're not going to be physically okay.
Yeah, you got the blueprint. You got the blueprint. Because like you're addressing the person as a whole, and not their muscles or they calves and thighs. You know what I'm saying?
Muscle comes, you know, after. We're all muscle, you know?
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
So it's just like, but I think that when I take my journey and what I represent, my story needs to play first, you know, so they understand that this place might not be a good fit for you. You know, because again, society makes fitness into a different avenue, and that's okay. I'm not saying that's not okay, but I'm not going to open my doors if you have different goals other than what doesn't fuel my fire.
Right. And everything.
Because you got to fuel me too,
Right.
because this is what I love to do. I open my business for me first. So if I'm not a good fit, that's okay. I can go ahead and bring you, and that's why I love to network with many other people, because it's always good to know people, because their presence in fitness is different from mine. They have their own personal story. And if their story resonates with them, then heck yeah, I'm going to refer them, because at the end of the day, we all win.
So how do you figure out if someone doesn't fit?
I just know.
Okay.
I just know. Sometimes they don't even come back. And I don't pull teeth, baby. My doors are always open. They know that. I always respectfully always open those doors. I do check-ins and stuff like that. But and then they never, not to say that they never leave in bad intentions or anything, had a bad experience. However, but they sometimes don't realize, oh, you know what? This is not the avenue I want to take. Or maybe they want to step it down even more. That's okay. Maybe I found that where people want to go yoga, vinyasa flow. Vinyasa flow is a great yoga experience where you're doing stretching and you know, different avenues of fitness that maybe that you need that flexibility before you go into my place. So there's different avenues where they go, you know what? Because I'm a hit driven person, because that's what fuels my fire. So my classes might be different from everybody else's classes. But again, I don't care about what everybody else got to offer. If I was like everybody else, I ain't going to have no clients. What's my purpose? This is my purpose. So I need to identify. I don't look at nobody else's schedule. I don't care what anybody else is doing, because once I start doing that, I'm comparing myself to them. And then what happens? I'm like everybody else. No, baby, I'm going to separate myself and mind my own business. If you want to come through my door and know what I represent, then you come on here and listen to this podcast, so then you understand what Freedom by Fitness stands for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So, believe it or not, we're just about out of time.
Man,
That was fast.
I gotta
Flew by.
That was
come
fast.
back. There's so much more.
Oh, as this
definitely
next
have you
chapter
back.
unfolds,
definitely
Kev,
have you
before
back.
I kind of ask my final question, is there anything we're leaving on the table?
No, I think we touched on the stuff I wanted to touch on. I know one thing I wanted to point out though earlier when you was talking about you had to love yourself first. You know what I mean? That resonated with me because I realized like all the many hats that I wear, working in the community, doing reentry work and stuff that we do and all that stuff. I get overwhelmed. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I realize, you know, just for the audience, because this is what you do too. You know, you got to pour into yourself before you can pour out. You know, and I make that a priority now with working out, with reading, with for me, I'm a Buddhist.
Schedule
with
it in.
chanting.
That's how people schedule it in.
Schedule it in. You know, make it a priority. So I think that's important for our listeners and for the future. You know, if you want to get referral, tell them Falling Up sent you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's imperative though. You know, to make sure that we take care of ourselves in order to bless the community.
Man, you gotta fall forward. I will tell people it's not no time to fall back, because when you think you fall back, you're actually falling forward, because you have to take everything in reality, and like I said, you got to dissect it. Everything is always a stepping stone for falling forward or falling up. You know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying, you know?
Absolutely.
It's like, you know, it's just saying like anything that you can. I just got into a car accident last week, okay, and I don't have a car. Not everything for the book, because at the end of the day, not everyone's for you, and then you know how that goes. You know, that's just the energy that that's besides my point.
Right.
But that falling up is a point where I realized many avenues in my life where I go, wow, I was able to figure it out. I thought I had two cars was gonna be, you know, I had one car was gonna be a hectic, and I figured it out. I fall up. You know,
Right.
I was able to go ahead and say, you know what, we communicate, we'll plan ahead. We have one car, we're gonna make sure we saving gas now, honestly. In a sense. But you get what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you might fall back, fall back one, but at the end of the day, you start to realize everything has a purpose. Not everything just falls into place because it needs to.
You couldn't have answered my last question any better if you tried. So that does it for me. Where can we send the listeners to find you? Any social medias? Where can they find you?
Everything is always Freedom by Fitness, Freedom by Fitness, Freedom by Fitness. Lynsey Saldaña on Facebook, and then again, also just real quick, just to tap it off, because building women in the community and everyone, because this is what we do, and having a business is why I found that it's really important to really connect to the community as well. Is try to if you guys can catch me at CT Social Business and Networking is also where I help people feel and find their purpose, because I found mine, and if I can help the community find theirs, meet me at the table. I do a lot of brunches, and I love it because I get to connect and connect the dots within our community, because if we need each other, man, and small businesses need small businesses. We all have one purpose, is to bring higher elevation to our life, what fuels us. And I hope people can come and see us at CT Social Business and Networking in Berlin, and sit at the table and eat with us. And I mean, I can come back and talk about that, but for now, Freedom by Fitness is where it's at.
We definitely gonna have you back for sure.
I got lots to say, so I'm excited. I appreciate you guys.
Well, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming by, and thanks everyone for listening.
You got it. Take care.
The Falling Up Podcast.